Hey, how's it going? Um, Day, I think 14 that I've had COVID now. Still got it. In fact, just a few minutes ago I was all shiny because I was feverishly sweating. It's getting better though. Still feel sick, but not as bad. So, whoa. Sorry about that. Please, take a look at my signs. Here, I'll help you. So, yeah. I, was talking, a few videos back, because I've been watching these Galactic Federation videos, and they say a lot of stuff that could be happening to people. And even though I know it's not a good idea to, I will still get those, well, wait a minute, nothing's happening here. Is something wrong? But then stuff started to happen, so one of the things they said was that you might be having flashes of, like, places you haven't been, or like places that have been described as like Arcturian or Pleiadian, or just like whatever sort of what do you call it, the star groups in the sky, like it could be the Buddhist system where Arcturus is, or it could be the system where the Pleiadians come from, or Pleiadians, and I think Orions too, or maybe Syrians, I don't know. I can't remember, but they were saying you might be having flashes of memory from like other lives where you were like an extraterrestrial or whatever. And so I really was trying not to get all like, what about me about it? But I was like, well, that ain't happening to me. And then a couple of, like maybe yesterday or the day before, I started having flashes of being in a room, and I'm like, that is a spaceship. And that's so perfect for me. Like, of course it's a spaceship. So anyway, also they said you might start recovering like memories, or just having like breakthroughs, like on the personal level. So one that I just had that I'm going to share with you was a memory, and I've been thinking of this place a lot lately, and it's a place where I lived with my mom and my stepdad, and I have a lot of different memories of that place, but this particular one, see, I just wrote a piece about, well, like the title is something like Mandelas and Bears, because what I wanted to talk about, it has to do with like the vibration stuff I've been talking about, and the dimension stuff, like dimensional travel, that, we as individuals can do without, like, machinery or a ship or something. Without, like, technology of the mechanical kind. So, I was thinking of this place we lived when I was a kid, and I had my own room, and I remember at this place I have lots of books, like lots of children's books, and I was probably I had to be like, when we moved from there, the last grade I completed was 7, so I had to be, or the last grade I completed was 3rd, so I had to be like 6 or 7, and less, because we lived there, I think, pretty long. Anyway, I just started thinking about how when I was a kid, I had those Berenstain Bears books, those storybooks, and I remember this happened a few times. I can't believe I didn't remember this with all the talk of Mandelas, and especially the Berenstain Bears stuff. So I remember a number of times going to ask my mom, how come sometimes it said Bernstein and sometimes it said Bernstein? And she would just look at me like, God, you're so... Because I think I kind of was a pain. I have other memories that sort of back that up, but I'm not going to share those with you because they don't really have anything to do with this. But I remember a few times I got up out of my room to go ask her, why does the book keep doing this? And I would show her, and she'd be like, it says Berenstain. And so the last time I asked her, I'm all, but it keeps going back and forth, and she's like, it's not doing anything. It just says Berenstain. And I was like, now it does. And oh my God, she got so mad. But she didn't understand that I meant in my room. That's not what it was doing. But I didn't say that to her because I didn't even know there was a distinction from room to room that could exist, I was 6 or 7. So, but I knew this was happening, but I also knew, after that time, I better not ask her again. Because she did, she also had a strike system, as I do. And I could only ask her a few times before next thing I knew, I was getting striked. Getting a spanking. Those were the times. I am not endorsing it. I'm just saying that's how it was. So that was a great relief, and I'm sharing that with you because I don't know who's where in this journey or how much of any of this kind of stuff that I'm talking about people are taking seriously or are experiencing. I don't know what's happening with you people, but I always figure if it's happening to me, it's got to be happening to other people too. And then, if you do go look at those videos that I talk about all the time, the GFL station videos and the Chosen Chronicle videos, which is the sibling channel to the first one, then you will know from the comment section that there are people that are totally on board with this besides myself. So, I would be also talking to those people. I'm just talking to whoever. Thank you for thank you for listening. I'm not picky. So, about that though, the solar flash that I started hearing about it right before Trump was elected the first time, and I learned about these, the Federation outside of Star Trek, in reality, which, again, I'm going to say, yes, I am 100% serious when I'm talking about this stuff. I do believe it, so I'm not joking, but, take it or leave it. Just because I believe it, I can't believe that my belief is going to make your life somehow change, negatively. I just don't think that's the way it's going to work out. But anyway, I watch this channel that does shorts on YouTube, and I think it's Animal Life CPB or something like that, but Animal Life is part of the title, and it's got a British voiceover person, and it does nature shots. So earlier they did fireflies, and I'm always interested in fireflies because they don't have them anywhere I've lived. So I haven't seen them anywhere I've lived. And I haven't seen them very much at all, really, because I don't know why. When you see them in a movie or something, it's just a shot for a couple of seconds. You don't really get to examine what they're doing, how they're doing it. So anyway, I was very interested in this short, and they were talking about the mating pattern of the male, and this, to me, so coincides with, the solar flash, because of the community action that makes... Well, let me continue about the fireflies. So the fireflies to impress a female is like they have things that they do with their bodies and like to show off and display. And they were saying that they have to take a big inhale of breath to cause a reaction, a chemical reaction in their tail that is the light that happens, the illumination. But he was saying with all of the Firefly boys out at the same time, which there was a shaitan just swarming, they can distinguish themselves by the thing that really gets the females is when they all, instead of blinking wildly all at different times and just like being nauseating, they have to sync together. They have to sync their lights together. So I don't know how really the selection process works after that. I think I stopped listening because for them all to work together in sync, these fireflies, with their little tail lights, to look at as a human, it's friggin' beautiful, man. It is like this breath of light. And, you know, the voiceover announcers back there nattering away about the female and the lights, and I'm like, that looks like what I feel like the solar flash, like that's an illustration of it, because we have had the impression, I think, that the solar flash is like some sort of cosmological thing that's going to come along and happen, like a comet that recurs. No, what happens is enough people awaken and raise their vibration and consciousness level to the point where, in combination, the vibration of all of the people is what causes the solar flash to happen, because it's us. We are the solar flash. Like, we illuminate like the fireflies, and then like it's not visible to me. I don't have that glare, but evidently from the ships, the Federation can see this on the planet, and it's visible. Like the Schumann resonance is visible because we're lighting that up too. We're flaming that puppy into columns of light, like they're calling it a curtain. See the videos, they talk about it. The titles are pretty self-explanatory, so I mean, I think just go there if you're interested and see what like bites for like what you're attracted to. I get all excited. So and then something else happened that I feel like has to do with all of this shifting and upgrading and downloading and everything, activating and codes, and oh my god, so much is happening. I can't believe. I almost feel like that I got sick like right at this time to just sort of like physically take me out so that I could sleep and actually like assimilate this stuff. Because when I'm awake, like now, like I totally feel like I have a fever. You might be able to see, yep, I got a shine going because I'm getting all hot. But that might just be because I'm tuning in, but maybe not. But anyway, I feel like I got sick just in time to need to sleep a bunch so that I could just sort of absorb all of that information coming in. And it's a lot. Like I talked, I think, in the last video about like having to just go, okay, I gotta stop watching these. It's just like I'm overstimulated. You know, and I've since gone back, but I always like space operas. I talk about it all the time. Like it comes up a lot, and it's interesting because my good friend had a dream of seeing her family in like a Star Trek type ship situation, much like the Flash that I mentioned earlier. But I don't know if it was the same ship. Could be. I mean, we're total soulmates, so probably. But anyway, she had a dream she told me about it. And I've known her for years and years and years before she told me this. like probably 7 or 8 years. And she's just all, did I ever tell you about that dream where I was sitting with my family on the spaceship? And she just described it, and she's all, yeah, I mean, our clothes pretty much look like Star Trek clothes. And I was like, do you know what that means? To me, that means that's a life she and her family have lived. And in this, oh God, somewhere in all of this spiritual stuff, that kind of story makes perfect sense. So, of course, my space-loving ass has a friend. She also feels like this was something she has lived. Astral plane, I don't know. Other life, I don't know. But anyway, then her mom, like, we're all from California. She and I and a couple of other friends that I know from California, and then she and some friends of hers from California all moved up here, and we all met. And her mom eventually moved up too, because all of her kids were somewhere else here, or most of them were here, and then her eventually all of them are now in this area. And then she was just down there by herself, so like the kids brought her up, and she was living near my friend, which is the daughter, so of course she's in charge of the mother. Well, at first, but that's not. But the point is that when she got settled, she was here, and then she started to get like dementia. So then she had to move in with like the brother, because the place where my friend lives is already full of people. There was no more room for mom to move in. But then, you know, she had a brother, so that's where mom went. And we just used to trip out on the fact that mom, she got like worse and worse, kind of fast, but it's progressive. But so I guess like the end just sped up or whatever. But what she would spend most of her time doing was watching freaking Star Trek. Isn't that crazy? In a good way. So anyway, I like to watch on YouTube all kinds of Star Trek content. And there's this Brit guy that has a channel called Certifiably In-Game. And he does really good work if you're into just being a total spaz fan. And I even like Star Trek fan fiction productions, okay? So everybody gets a turn. But anyway, the guy put out a video today that I put in my community section, because he's talking about Star Trek and how long did Starfleet know about the Borg? Like how long did they know, and what did they know, I think was how you would phrase it. So he followed a timeline, and it sort of just is sewn and stitches together all of the different series and all of these different things that sort of show the history and what happened. Like, they talk about before there was even a Starfleet, Zachariah, what's his name? I can't remember the guy that did the first space flight, where the first Contact movie. So the guy that was building the rocket, I can't remember the character's name right now, but he saw like something Borg, and I guess only he saw it. This is what the video talks about, and I know I have seen this. Like, I remember what he's talking about, but not that, like, the detail of it. But anyway, there's no way that if it's in a Star Trek that I did not see this. So they said the guy saw something that was Borg, but he didn't know what he was looking at. And then if you see First Contact, all of this makes sense. So I'm actually not gonna, I'm not worried about spoiling it. I just can't believe you haven't seen it. I mean, it's just been on regular broadcast TV for free for years, so I'm just assuming mostly everybody has seen this movie. And so the timeline of the Borg, though, the Borg having contact as opposed to like the Vulcans and anybody else, sort of comes along later and is roundabout, and the way the audience becomes aware of the Borg for the first time is because of Q. And so I was like, okay, and I was asking myself a couple of questions because I love the story of the Borg in Star Trek. Like, I think it's just so scary and so well written, and like, at least, you know, the initial Borg, like the Borg on the Enterprise with Jean-Luc Picard and him getting assimilated, like the other stuff that came later, like Hugh and, you know, the Borgs that I think they had some on Voyager, and they were so bargain basement, you know, budgets, but they were just not, like, the first was the best, and just the most, like, spine-chilling. And I said this before in another video, because this is what they were saying in the GFL videos, was that those science fiction movies are not really so much fiction. Like, they are all based on actual events that were, like, put into the heads of these creatives so that they could just be like, here's like a landscape, do your thing with it. And then they came out with, like, George Lucas did Star Wars, and then whoever, Brad Cooper, probably another guy, did Stargate, and you know, who did Alien first? Like Ridley Scott, and then a bunch of other directors came along later, and writers, and blah, blah, blah. But also Alien, so really scary stuff, you know, like the Space Wars with evil aliens did, I guess, actually happen. But here's the thing, why do I always get so happy about it? Like, it's scary, it's not happy stories. I was thinking about that today, like, what is wrong with you? Why do you like this? Was I a Borg or something? But I don't think that's what it is. I think that we won, I think is why I get so excited, but I don't know, maybe I'm like a Valhalla Viking, and I'm just like, war and kill and death and win! I don't know. Anyway, I linked that certified in-game video because the whole timeline, even though I've seen all of those shows, I totally know what he was talking about. He put some stuff together that I hadn't, like, I just didn't look at it in the same way. But then we don't do the same things. So, but anyway, I felt like the whole video and like the way he laid out the storyline was so familiar. Like, right now, my skin is doing stuff. Like, what are you doing? Well, oh, God, I thought I was getting a hive, but I think that's a bug bite. Anyway, I just so much felt, I don't even have words, really, for it, except for what I've already said, but I have a feeling right now, just talking about it, that I cannot describe, so that's why I shared that video. Like, I know that disclosure of many things is coming, you know, like, when the disclosure about, like, ETs and, you know, technologies that have been sort of, like, held back, and all kinds of revelations are going to come out about, like, ETs and their connection to humanity and all of this, so that's to come, you know, still down the road. And I'm not, like, talking out of school here. I get a lot of the details that I'm sharing with you from videos that you can go watch yourself. I always mention the names of the channels, so take it or leave it, check it out or don't. It's up to you. So I did pull some cards. And just I was thinking about like the bears and the Mandela thing when I pulled them, so that's, I didn't really ask a question, I'm just saying that's what was on my mind. So I'm using the Gemstone Whispers deck, and the first card is Tiger's Eye. Ooh, that's a good one. It looks like tiger coat though. So the subtitle is Courage. In the face of all these revelations, like even like the Epstein stuff, that's another series of revelations that is going to be coming out. I'm not saying it's all going to be concurrent, but, or, you know, concurrent, like this, not all going to come out at the same time. Like, I really think that everybody would be overstimulated and not react well at all. Just can't handle too much truth at once, I don't think. But anyway, the card reads, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Behind and underneath all of the other sci-fi stuff, also to be found in the spiritual teachings is, and not just there, like out in the world, you will hear it too, love conquers all, love drives all, actually, like even when it's unattractive and dark and, you know, not lovely, it still exists even in like that weird state, that deformed distorted state. So the next card is Do Mortier Right. I don't know how to pronounce that. You can do better, knock yourself out. And I also don't know which one of those it is. I don't like it when they do that. Are they all that? Because, I mean, I got rocks that look like some of these. I got actually rocks that look like most of these, but I know they're not all the same rock. Sorry. That's a me problem. So the subtitle on this is Wisdom. And, you know, I probably say this every time, I probably will, but to me, a stone, a rock, has been around a long time, and they've seen some stuff. And the card reads, the fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. Well, you know, that is probably a wise state of mind for a fool to try to maintain. You know, don't... For God's sake, everyone is going to find out. You didn't know what you thought. Like, you don't know what you don't know. I learned that from Cryon. And that's another channel that you could learn a thing or two from. The Cryon Lee Official channel. KryonLeeCarroll. Cryon is the channeled being. Lee Carroll is the channeler. Cryon Lee Carroll. Now they've just melded. Pardon. Anyway, I'll get back to this. So the next card is Petrified Wood. And the subtitle is Lost. It's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. Anything. Yeah, anything. Petrified wood is like fossilized wood. It's another way. It's a different state toward fossilization, I'd say. But what it also indicates is paralysis, or like immovability, like stubbornness, you know. And so trees have these rings, like here, that are radiating from this central point. And if that were the center of the trunk, or the center of you, perhaps, like your mind, or your core, where you know things in your gut, or both, you know, your heart, like the whole unit, the whole system, you age, you grow older, and you learn things. You graduate to new levels, and you evolve in various ways because of what happens in life, what happens to you, how you happen to other people. It's all something that you it's like another layer of learning and living. So, I mean, I feel like this is very much like us, obviously. And I think right now we're dealing with a period where some of us are petrified and paralyzed and don't want to move forward in a natural progression because, I mean, just do it, because you have to, like, untie from the dock, because otherwise you're just gonna tear stuff and it's gonna happen regardless, you know, like, why put that strain on everybody? But it's a stubbornness thing. But everything is being lost right now, in a manner of speaking. A lot of things are being lost. A lot of institutions, a lot of belief systems are being revealed as not what we thought they were. We were, in a lot of cases, we were fooled. But, you know, you can only be fooled if you agree to submit to it. And so that is come to an end, actually. Like, the whole, that's the thing, like, that was an era, an epoch we just all lived through. 26,000 years of negative, warring, bad, you know, not making good decisions. But, you know, for the time, perhaps they were. Perhaps they happened the way they needed to happen. Well, no perhaps about it. Because you can't, again, ignore the whole birth contract that everybody has. Like, all these things are being played out. But evidently we're done with that. Everything got all tied up. Everybody's finished with that portion. So now we are navigating to a new space. So the next card is Sunstone. And that would be this lovely fiery thing that looks like amber, kind of, which also hangs around for a long time. It does the petrification and the fossilization-ish type stuff. The subtitle on this one is Sun, S-U-N, and it reads, I am not pretty, I am not beautiful, I am as radiant as the sun. I don't actually know what to do with that, except that if you're talking about the actual sun, it don't care what you think about its appearance. It's not there for that type of thing. You can't give it a hug. It's another. It's radiant. It's not those other things. It's radiant, and that's its whole other thing of its own. That, for me, it's yet to be understood, because our sun is a gateway, like a wormhole or something, and I'm still wrapping my mind around that. Look, if you look at UFO videos, if they haven't scrubbed them, you might be able to find some where spaceships seem to be flying in and out of the sun. So I heard about it somewhere on YouTube, someone talking about it, and then I finally saw it, so, and that sounds unbelievable, but you don't know what you don't know. The thing about sunstones, the reason why I'm still holding this, is this particular stone. If you saw the History Channel series Vikings with Travis Fimmel as Ragnar led expeditions from, I think they were in Norway, to America, and navigating, the reason why the sunstone, because of that, stands out to me is they use it for navigation as some kind of sextant, I guess. I don't understand at all how that worked, like something to do with the, I'm imagining the sun's shadow and what they knew about which way was north, south, east, and west. Like, listen, give me a paper map, I'm happy. I mean, I can use other things. I don't have a need for it. I don't travel like that. I don't have a car. But my point is that this stone, they used very simple device to travel across the ocean, more than just the ocean. That's a long frickin' way from Norway to North America, to like Newfoundland or wherever they landed. Anyway, They took something from the earth and used it in concert with the sun and the stars to navigate from their home to the new world. The first people to do that before the other southern continent Europeans or the contiguous Europe, whatever. Listen. That is powerful to me, and it kind of tells me that it's something that we have discernment, and we have the ability to navigate ourselves, you know. And I'm not sure if we represent the stone or the stone represents our use of the sense, you know, like this inner technology, the biotech that we have, to enhance. I mean, how do you read a stone in shadows and find your way at all that distance? And you got to know what the stars are doing. But that's crazy, because you're not under like your own constellation. That was the word I was looking for earlier. You're not like under your normal looking constellation, and this is how you're navigating. What? Okay, so the last stone, or the last card is, man, they should have put like a phonetic key under these things. It could be Carol White because it's CH, or it could be Cheryl White. You decide what you think works, because I couldn't tell you. Looks very amethysty, doesn't it? So anyway, the subtitle is Destiny. Fate is like a strange, unpopular restaurant filled with odd little waiters who bring you things you never asked for and don't always like. Life is odd tapas. But here's the thing, though. You don't always get life exactly served up the way you want it. I think, you know, most of us that are, you know, over 30 get that. Somehow. But the thing about life is, like, something that you think you don't want anything to do with, that you think is distasteful or wrong, or some other something that you normally wouldn't engage with. Sometimes you're forced to, and you have to make the best of it, and then you don't know what you don't know. It turns out to be like the best thing that ever happened to you, the best friend you ever made, the best life you saved, or your life got saved. Like, we walk into situations all of the time where we don't know if we're gonna sidestep into a vortex and never be seen again. You just don't know. You just don't know what you're gonna get. That was my Forrest Gump impression. But you don't. You know, and so if it's not what you want, and you start off like, this is bad, this is not what I want, you don't have to just leave it there and just be like, okay, I accept this as bad. You can also accept it as bad and decide that you're going to make that bad good. Like, you're going to make good out of it so that it just isn't bad anymore. And that's a very basic way to put it, but I think it might be as simple as that, you know? I mean, it's changing your vibration, changing your mood. You can get sick of being bummed out and just stop. Like, one day just be like, I'm done feeling like this, and then you move into the next feeling, and boom, you did it. You changed the dimension, you, like, jumped the timeline, you changed, you know what I'm saying? So, the mechanics of it can be as simple as that, but what if you just didn't leave it as simple? You know, what if you put more feeling into it, like, more of feeling into it, not like an actor, like, put more feeling into it. I don't mean like that. I mean, use your senses and feel into it. And then, I mean, you obviously had to be doing more than just, manipulating this stone. There was like sensory work on your part that would have needed to be done. And the same is true with life. You encounter people and situations, and you have to make adjustments and course corrections, either in yourself or maybe you just see something coming and you course correct way around it and don't deal with it at all. That kind of thing too is what I mean. But I feel like, knowing what I do know of, I feel like that is a part of your toolkit that you really have to familiarize or refamiliarize yourself with more than ever, because there's going to be so much stuff that is going to be unreal and not what it says it is. Like, there already always has been, but it's just getting worse and worse and worse. But then there's also, like, what you're seeing right in front of you. Listen, a lot of MAGA are starting to change their mind about Dear Leader, and they never thought they would, and I never thought they would, and we never thought they would, and then one day they change their mind. Something happens, I could say trigger, but I'm going to say something activates them to start realizing stuff is not how they thought it was, that their perception was, I don't want to say mistaken, but it wasn't seeing the right things. It wasn't seeing everything, like it hadn't evolved to that stage. So, I'm just going to real quick read you what I wrote about that. You know what? I'm going to spare you. I'm just going to link it. Oh shoot. I haven't, uploaded it yet. Well, after I do this, I'll go do that, and then I'll upload and link. Okay? Thank you, and good night.